As per a survey conducted by Fourth Agency, it's an agency called Fourth in Jan 2018, 85% of UK adults are experiencing stress in some form. As per a research by House of Commons Library, which was released in April 2018, an estimated 1 in 6 people are experiencing a common mental disorder like depression or anxiety. It also states that 1 million people were in contact with adult mental health services as of December 2017. Few more researchers say by 2020, depression would be the leading cause of death and disability. In short, we are heading towards a joy-deprived, unhealthier society. The pursuit of happiness is going nowhere. So why is that today we have more convenience but less time? We have more medicines, less health. We have higher incomes, lower morals. We are building houses, but we are ending up with more broken homes. We are flooded with social networking, but shallow relationships. We have more crowd, but even more loneliness. It hit me when I heard a few weeks back the lead pastor of Inland Church in California. He took his own life, leaving behind his wife and 3 young children. So why is this, and is there an underlying connection? Now the question comes, as a Christian, we know God wants us to go or prepare ourselves for our eternal journey. But does God want us to be happier and healthier on this earth itself? Now, what would the scriptures say? I'll come back to that question again. But before that, let me share an extract about a study on an adult development, which was conducted on what really keeps people healthy and happier. Robert Waldinger is the fourth director of an ongoing Harvard study of adult development, which may be the longest study of its kind. And that has ever been happened on this adult life. And he has shared some insights. So the question is, if you are, as per that insights, if you are going to invest now in your future self, where will you put your time and energy now? A recent survey with millennials, asking them what is the most important goals for them, 80% of them said getting rich, and 50% also said that we want to be famous. And we are constantly told to lean into work, to push harder and achieve more. So this study focused through the entire lives as they unfold through time, asking them what's going on, means what is their mood, and from their teenager life to the old age. The study started back in 1938, from when they have tracked the lives of 724 men, year after year, asking them about their work, their homes, their health, without knowing how their life stories would turn out. The study took their medical records from the doctors, drew their blood, scanned their brains, and they talked to their children as well. For 80 years, from 1938 now, they have tracked the lives of these 724 men, which were divided into 2 groups. So one group were sophomores, like teenagers from Harvard College. The other group was from most deprived and poor suburbs of Boston. which didn't have a very good upbringing with a lot of difficult times. When this study was, the insight on this study was revealed, 60 of them were still alive. They were in their 90s. And the study has now continued forward to get their children as well, which is around 2,000 children and children's children when they collectively. So it is going on. And these teenagers grow up into adults who enter all walks of life. Some became factory workers, some bricklayers, some lawyers, one president of the United States. Some developed alcoholism. Few developed schizophrenia. Some climbed the social ladder from bottom all the way to up, and some made their journey in the opposite direction. So what are the lessons that come from tens and thousands of information which they have gathered in these lives? Well, the lessons are not about wealth, fame, or working harder or harder. The clearest message they found from this 80-year study is that good relationships keeps us happier and healthier, period. They have learned 3 big lessons about relationships. The first is that social connections are really good for us and that loneliness kills. It turns out that people who are more socially connected to family, to friends, to community are happier. They are physically healthier. They live longer than people who are less well connected. And the experience of loneliness turns out to be toxic. People who are more isolated find that they are less happy and their health declines early in midlife. Their brain functioning declines sooner and they live shorter lives than people who are not lonely. The second big lesson, it showed that it's not just the number of friends you have, but it's the quality of your close relationship that matters. And living in the midst of good, warm relationships act as a protective net. Once they followed this man, all into their 80s, they wanted to look back at them at the midlife to see if they can predict who was going to grow to be a happy, healthy octogenarian and who wasn't. And when they gathered together everything they knew about them at age 50, it wasn't their middle-age cholesterol level that predicted how they were going to grow old. It was how satisfied they were in their relationships. The people who were most satisfied in the relationships in 50 were the healthiest at age 80. And good, close relationship seemed to buffer us from some of the slings and arrows of getting old. The most happily partnered men and women reported in their 80s that on the days when they have more physical pain, their mood stayed just as happy. But the people who were in unhappy relationships, on the days when they reported more physical pain, it was magnified with more emotional trauma. And the third big lesson that they learned about relationships is that our health is that good relationship don't just protect our bodies. It protects our brains. It turns out that being in a securely attached relationship to another person in your 80s is protective. That the people who are in relationship where they really feel they can count on the other person or rely on them in the times of need, those people's memories stay sharper and longer.